Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. It's Sunday evening, so it's Formula X time. I know we've had a break and been away for a week for Valentine's Day, but we are back with a bang here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway. 150 miles around this great oval. What are you watching? You're watching the Formula X, of course. You should know by now. We're round 6, so it's our Formula 1 equivalent. After every 2 rounds, the teams get to pay with tokens for potential developments. It's all there. Go and look at some of the early races. I can't go through all of it. My word, there's a lot to take in. They've all based themselves on an F1 team. Like now, we can see IR Graham running around fastest. No, Psycho's fastest on track, but he's in the pits at the moment. He's in the Alpine team, is IR Graham. Stevie Styler behind him in the Ferrari team. Kale further down, he's in the McLaren team, as you can see. Dutch in the Red Bull team. Alexis Maximus, his teammate, in the Red Bull team. So there's Intulu in the second Ferrari. So as you can see, they've all based themselves on the teams of F1 teams, and they've been racing for 5 rounds now. After every 2 rounds, based on the manufacturer's table, they're given tokens to spend on developments. Now I've lost track of the developments, and the developments are kept quite close to the chest of the teams and the organizer. All I can say is I think Alpine and Ferrari do have a small speed advantage, but they also carry a bit of weight with that. Right, I'm going to crack on with the tables and tell you what the grid will be. We'll be going off at 8 o'clock, so I've only got 4 minutes. That's plenty of time to get you guys up to speed. Oh gosh, they're not loading up very quick. There we are, I've got them now. So we'll look at the championship standings so far, and I'll do a rundown of that. We've got, oh god, it's disappeared, hang on. That's because I zoomed in, and I zoomed in too excitedly, and it just disappeared. Here we go, I'm getting it now. So we've got Psycho in first place on 118 points. IR Graham second in the championship with 101 points. Stevie Styler's third on 86 points. Intulu is fourth on 67 points. In fifth we have Skyjacker for 50 points. He's driving for McLaren, I should tell you they're driving for. In sixth, Alexis Maximus for Red Bull on 48 points. In seventh we have Jam for Aston Martin on 47 points. In eighth, Shadow Rider for Williams on 43 points. In ninth, Catula for Mercedes on 40 points. 10th we have Noxie for Alpine on 38 points. In 11th we have Kale for McLaren, in it, for 38 points, sorry. Jim Wise in the other Williams is 12th with 26 points. In 13th is Daz for Mercedes on 26 points. And in 14th is Racer Brown as the reserve driver on 15 points. In 15th we have Dutch for Red Bull on 8 points, and Jokus, the former Red Bull driver, on 3 points. So that's the table. Sorry, it was a bit messy. It's all on Discord. It's all on Discord and our website if you want to check them out yourselves. It's better to look at than to listen to anyway, I always think. I'll go through the manufacturer's table with you. It's interesting, especially as after this round there's going to be another round of token spends for development. So at the top of the table, after round 5, Aston Martin lead the way on 165 points, from Ferrari in second on 153 points. In third, Alpine on 139 points. Fourth, McLaren on 88 points. In fifth, Mercedes on 81 points. In sixth, Williams on 69 points. And in seventh, Red Bull on 59 points. So that's all the tables and stuff out of the way. And now let me just tell you the grid, then I'll tell you the chat, and then I bet you will be time to race. So the grid will be a rolling start for this race because of it being an oval. They decided it's wiser to go with a rolling start. And your grid will look like, on pole, Dutch with second place being Daz, third Jim One Wise, fourth Kale, fifth Jam, sixth Shadow Rider, seventh Cthulhu, 8th Skyjacker, 9th Alexis Maximus, 10th Intulu, 11th Stevie Styler, 12th Psycho, 13th IR Graham, and in 14th, standing in for Noxie, we will see the lady Mika Wivery joining us, getting her elbows out with the boys. In the chat we've got Flashman saying evening, or Mika Wivery saying evening, Endurance Nut, how do? Toto is on the pit wall and ready to declare hammer time. Mika Wivery says this is weird, my HUD shows me 5th fastest but yours has me 8th. I am a little bit delayed. You're 7th now. There's the Mika, she's out there. Is there a new helmet design for this? Nice. So, also in the chat, Joker says good evening, the Red Bull principal, Mika Wivery being the Alpine principal, and Endurance Nut being Mercedes principal. Patrick, sorry Pat, in the chat saying hi, good luck following this tonight, could be fun this one. He's the Aston Martin principal, and Noxie is evening everyone. He's watching his reserve out there, see how they do. Right, you're all up to speed. That is everything. This is going to be exciting. I think this is going to be as close to an IndyCar race as we've ever had in the Virtual Racers Club. These cars, similar to Indy cars from the US of A, where the COVID is high and the gene pool is shallow. Psycho then we can see in the Aston Martin. So I don't know how this is going to work out, because these cars, they're good under tow, but when they get close in the corner they lose all downforce. So I don't know how this is going to work, but they should all find a tow body to help them get around. I'm seeing lap times here, 38s from Psycho in the Aston Martin. Stevie Styler is no set lap times there. We're seeing 38s from Daz, 37.9 his fastest. The fastest out there is IR Graham with a 37.4. Alan Psycho in the chat saying evening all, good luck. We know who he's rooting for, Skyjacker. Good luck to me. I'm not going to be able to keep track of this, by the way. I want to say before we start, don't count on me this evening, because this is going to be trippy as you like. I just think there's going to be movement, changes, all sorts of things happening in this race. And it's the first time we've done this, like I said. This is the first kind of race we've had like this that I know of, with cars that reach, what, excess of 200 miles an hour? Where's one going? Let's see. I didn't clear me cache beforehand, but hopefully it'll be alright. So sat on board with Cthulhu in the Mercedes. We use the Red Bull standard chassis, just paint F1 cars on. Graham needs 2 minutes. There he goes. Wow, no lift there, was there? So we went up to about 170, moving up to about 190 at best. Down this straight, goes around the turn, again no lift, at 190, planted, absolutely planted. Down the back straight, around the last corner, around turn, sorry, got to think of them like USA, the turn. It's up to 7th, 191, 92, so we're getting 194 without a tow. Don't know if he's getting a bump draft, it's even higher than that, 96, flicks it down for the first corner. Ooh, glances that wall. Really can see that they're wearing that tyre. Oh, I've got to tell you as well, they get a random choice of tyres that spun for them. They have to use both compounds, and this week it is softs and mediums, which is probably a good job really, because super softs here would probably not last 5 minutes. So we're going with the soft and medium racing compound. The track is the Blue Moon Bay Speedway. The time is set for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be 76 laps. The track length is 2 miles with 3 turns. I've told you the grids. In the race, both of the mandatory tyre compounds should be used. Failure to do so will result in disqualification. I don't think there's a set lap though. I think, you know, they could come in and just use the mediums once for one lap, maybe. Yes, and there it is, team principals. After round 6, the token spending will commence once more. This will open as soon as the results have been confirmed and the team's championship is posted. You will have until 10 o'clock on Friday, the 26th of February, to submit your token spends to BRC Jam. So there's another development round coming up. There'll be some interesting people out there getting some good boosts to their engine power, they're hoping. So there is Matt Psycho out there. He's done a 38.5. I don't know if anyone's going to show before the race starts. There's going to be a lot of sandbagging. Looks like there we can see Daz. Oh no, Cthulhu. Daz is a bit further down. The two Mercedes are looking okay though, aren't they? They're high up. They need the points at this point in the championship. And just coming up to a token spend, moving up the championship, the manufacturers would be really helpful. Skyjacker, solid season so far. As I say, he was 5th in the championship. He's not had all the luck go his way, but he's had some good finishes. So where did I say he was? 5th. And I was correct, 5th. Yeah, he's had a couple of bad. Lago Maggiore wasn't a great one for him, and last time out at Le Sarthe wasn't a high scorer, but other than that, he's been getting double figures in the points. Probably ready to move up to the podium. I'm not sure he's had one of them yet. I should write down the results and I can tell you, can't I? Give them a Y to let them know I am here doing my thing with my buds on the tube. Go Team Williams. Flashman, team principal of Williams. Did you tell? I've forgotten, that's why I hadn't said anything. And you helped me out of a hole there, Flashman, by saying go Team Williams. Mew. The cat's mewing at me, I don't know why. You want to join in? You want to do commentating? So 38.3 there for Psycho the last time around. I'm trying to get a good indication if there's a big time difference between those in a tow and those not. They all seem to be doing low 38s, high 37s. So Cthulhu in the chat. Yeah, the Mercedes looking okay in practice in second and third there. We saw the timer counting down. So we're going straight in. Dry. No, they're going to roll start, remember. A nice rolling start. Get things underway. Dutch on pole, as I said earlier. Daz, Jim on Mize, Kale, Jam. So Kale's one to watch in 4th place. We're looking at Dutch in his Red Bull on the grid. His Mercedes of Daz right next door. As they pull away. We've got a good... Yeah, it's all close shot stuff. There you can see Dutch just dribbling up to the start line, and then there they go for 76 hard-fueled, full-throttled laps here at Blue Moon Speedway. Blue Moon Bay Speedway, sorry, for the Virtual Racers Club Formula X Heel Tread Acelith Design, lovely stickers, Grid Finder, Blue Bay Speedway, Blue Moon Bay Speedway 150. There you go. The Americans, they love to put every single sponsor and name in the title, so I've done it. So far, Dutch and Daz pulling away from the rest of the crowd. Jim Wise in his Williams just ahead of Kale. Shadow Rider in 5th ahead of a big batch of cars of Cthulhu, Jam, Skyjacker, and Intulu's in a little gang of his own, so they've split up into a few little groups here. Intulu leading his little group with Stevie Styler. Oh, there's some wall bouncing going there. Intulu down to 12th now. Stevie Styler taking 11th place. I.R. Graham there in 10th now. Psycho up into 9th. Skyjacker on the back of the trail. We have it in front. So Daz and Dutch swapping places in the lead of this race. Dutch now leading from Daz. There in 3rd, we've got Jim on Wise over a 2nd behind now. Cthulhu, Shadow Rider, Kale, they're all there, fighting, tussling for position. And it's like they're all... And now the two McLarens together on track. Can they help each other out and pull themselves up through this group of cars? Meanwhile, Daz is leading this race ahead of Dutch, with Jim One Wise ahead of Cthulhu, with Shadow Rider just behind them. I haven't been keeping an eye on the tyres. I would assume they would have all started. No, there I can see Shadow Rider is on the medium tyre. So Daz starting on the racing soft ahead of Dutch, who is also on the racing soft there. Jim One Wise is on the racing medium tyres with Cthulhu on the racing soft. Ooh, what's going on? Jam is there. He's on the racing soft tyre. Kale is also on the racing soft with Skyjacker right behind him on the racing soft in the other McLaren. My, these cars are flying. Psycho there. He has opted for the racing soft with IR Graham on the racing medium, using the toe and losing no time. Jim One Wise losing places. Jim One Wise must have struck a wall or something. It looks like he's had an issue. There he goes, all three wide, and he was the big loser there. Three of them wide, and Jim One Wise was up against the wall. Now he's dropped down into 10th spot behind IR Graham. Stevie Styler and Intulu slipping back into 11th and 12th there. I don't know if it's a weight thing. Alexis Maximus in 13th, and the Mika Wivery standing in for Noxie is some 1.2 seconds behind Alexis Maximus. So Dutch leading from Shadow Rider. So it's changed again. Daz has dropped down to 4th. Daz dropping down to 4th, so Dutch leading in his Red Bull, with Jam now up into 2nd with Shadow Rider in his Williams in 3rd place. Daz is down to 4th ahead of his teammate Cthulhu in 5th. There is Kale, the two McLarens coming at the Mercedes. They're coming at him. It's looking good for them. Yes, one. They've both got one Daz, and now they're aiming to get Cthulhu. But there we see Kale having a big rub on the wall at the top there of the corner. So Cthulhu now has come through to take the lead. Cthulhu taking the lead from Dutch. Dutch slipping back a bit. He must have nudged the wall. And we can see Shadow Rider fighting him for 2nd place. But Dutch there still in his 2nd, is he? No, he's... who knows? 3 wide going round turn 3. It's crazy out there. Oh, someone's really ghosted there. Someone really ghosted. Shadow Rider, was it? I don't know. Oh, it's starting to split up now. So there we have Cthulhu in his Mercedes leading on lap 7 of 76. In 2nd place we have Kale or Skyjacker, the two McLarens alongside each other. There they go, on slipped in behind. Dutch is in 4th place with Jam trying to get around the inside of him. And then you can see IR Graham there, 3 wides in turn 2. IR Graham coming through victorious into 4th spot. He's there with the McLarens. He's shaking it up. It's all... Oh, there's a little bit of bump and grind out there. There's not much room for racing with these big, wide Red Bull chassis. Dutch now in the middle of the pack in 7th, 8th, 9th. Oh, they're all just swinging past him. He's floundering out there at the moment. So Cthulhu leading by 8/10 of a second. Skyjacker grabbing the toe from Cthulhu, helping Kale along. They've pulled away from IR Graham slightly. Then you have a Jam in 5th place with Psycho up into 6th. Now the two Aston Martins together. Daz is in 8th place in his Mercedes, followed by Stevie Styler in 9th. Jim One Wise is in 10th place now, but it's going to change next lap. Dutch down to 11th with Alexis Maximus in 12th, fighting Intulu in 13th, and Mika Wivery catching these two up and trying to get through. She's up to 13th, she's up to 12th. Boom. The Alpine is on its way, and Alexis Maximus trying to have a look at Mika Wivery, but she is well and truly on her way on those soft tyres. How long can these soft tyres last? Meanwhile, Cthulhu, king of the ring so far, he's pulled away 7/10 ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker looking for that podium, hungry for it. Kale there in 3rd spot. We've got IR Graham on his medium tyres, not far behind these guys. But it seems, is it down the straight? They all start flooding. IR Graham, there is Jam in 5th place ahead of his teammate Psycho. Stevie Styler up into 7th ahead of the Williams of Shadow Rider. Daz there in 9th. He's dropped another spot. Dutch catching him up to try and take that 10th, and he gets it. Oh, a little nudge. Puts Daz into the wall a little bit. He's got to have a little bit more racing room there. Intulu in 13th. Mika Wivery is back down into 14th. on the tail of Alexis Maximus. These three in a race of their own down at the back of the grid. They're losing touch with the leaders, who is still Cthulhu. But Aya Graham has got past everybody else, and now he is hunting down himself a piece of Mercedes. And here we see Aya Graham in the tow, coming out to take the lead from Cthulhu. That's the one I want. There we can see the rest of the field chasing. Cthulhu in second, Jam in third. Jam moving up into second place. Is he going to get Aya Graham as well? See, they said you can do that and I can't, and it annoys me. Everyone's always saying, oh, you can... Give me a sec. No, I can't do it. No. It's weird. They say you can swivel the camera in the cockpit, but I can't swivel anything, so sorry for that. I'll get back into it. Get back out of that. So Jam taking the lead from Psycho. He's brought his teammate up through with him. Cthulhu down into third spot. Stevie Styler is gone down to fifth, with Skyjacker going back up into fourth. I told you it's all going to change lap by lap. We're on lap 13 now. The fuel is down to half a tank. Whoa, it looks like we had contact there. Skyjacker fourth. Stevie Styler there up into fifth place. Aya Graham down into sixth. Shadow Rider seventh. Kale is really fallen down to eighth place from being right up there. And we can see the Aston Martin boys boxing clever up there, helping each other along. Have I really messed up the in-car now? I think I have. In a second, I'll sort that out. So we can see Psycho pushing Jam along whilst he's getting that tow. A 38-1 from Psycho. But here comes Cthulhu out of the tow. Oh, it looks like Jam was in the wall. Jam's dropping. Jam is dropping. It looks like that somehow there Cthulhu nipped up the inside. Psycho stuck to the back of Cthulhu. Skyjacker's come up into third place and Jam down into fourth. My word, it's going to change rapidly as we go. Aya Graham there in fifth place, still hunting his prey. Stevie Styler for Ferrari, trying to get around the Alpine car all the time. Shadow Rider sitting in front of him in fifth place. Then down into the other group, Kale just losing touch with that group in eighth place. Then we have another gang, Daz ahead of Dutch, who's ahead of Jim One Wise. In Tulu, starting to catch these guys up in the fight with Mika and Alexis Maximus. This is amazing racing here. Sat on board with Alexis Maximus in this battle. At the back now, Skyjacker has taken the lead of this race. Skyjacker ahead of Psycho, and Cthulhu down into third place. It's changing up and down the grid, and there we can see Alexis Maximus making a move on Intulu, coming out of that tow. How long can they maintain this crazy speed? It's unbelievable. So Alexis Maximus still not quite ahead of Intulu, trying to get back into that tow, but Mika Wibbery up the inside of him. She's gone low, and she's doing Intulu as well. Can she get through? She has gone through. Beautiful stuff. Intulu then to the back. It's just swapping corner by corner for these guys. It is great racing, absolutely beautiful. Now look at Skyjacker's glory moment in the lead of this race. No pit stops yet to be taken. They've got about a half a tank of fuel. The right rear tyre is really getting chewed up in this race at the moment, but we're on lap 17 of 76. That's 10 minutes of racing. These races usually taking about an hour. I did post it in the FX chat on Discord how long they think this race will go, because Le Sart was a very fast race and it finished 55 minutes. I've gone with 49 minutes. So Nino Valverde in the chat saying Bruno, which is Cthulhu. And Cthulhu is hounding Skyjacker, but coming out the tow as he left it, that Psycho now can grab Skyjacker's tow, and Cthulhu out there without a tow. He's dropping behind he's dropped behind Psycho and Jam. Jam helping each other, and he's going to try and ease himself in between Jam and Psycho, and there was only just room for the Mercedes Petronas car there. Wow, that's crazy racing we've got going out there. Skyjacker maintaining that lead for a couple of laps now, but the Aston Martin car's poised to jump. I wonder if there's any kind of fuel saving happening out there at the moment. Jam there in fourth with Shadow Rider right on his tail in fifth. Kale catching up. Well, no, Kale has been caught up by IR Graham. No, IR Graham dropping behind Kale with Stevie Styler in 8th place. Daz ahead of his own little pack with Jim One Wise up into 10th place ahead of Dutch in 11th, and behind them we've got these three fighting their own fight in Tulu, Mika Wivery and Alexis Maximus. And that rear tyre really starting to become a concern for some of these sim racers out there. So Catula back in the lead. Alonso here for the Blue Moon Bay Speedway 150 here at the Virtual Racers Club, round 6 of the Formula X. I'm getting so carried away. I can't help myself. Skyjacker close second spot on board. That's what Skyjacker can see. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Say it again. And there he's going for the inside line on Catula to try and retake the lead of this race. Shadow Rider now up into third, Psycho down to fourth, Kale up into fifth, Jam down to sixth, Stevie Styler up into seventh, IR Graham down into eighth. There is anyone's win. This is anyone's race. It's just a pot. It's a crap shot. Endurance not saying Bruno. Way. A little help there, a little bump draft from Skyjacker, and Catula on his way, pulling out a small gap, but there is Skyjacker flying into that gap. Skyjacker with Shadow Rider close behind. Then let's sit on board with a Jam, because the view of these cars in front must be intoxicating. Sitting in this position, we're in 5th place, sat on board with the Aston Martin. We've gone up high, giving the wall a little nudge. There we see IR Graham in his Alpine coming through. Now just grabbing that toe. Kale giving us a little bump draft from behind, helping out. There we see there 5 cars ahead of us. Tight racing between Shadow Rider and Skyjacker. Shadow Rider going down. Is he going to go into the pits? I don't think so. No, way too early for a pit. In the track, I mean. And then we can see Jan getting the toe there on his teammate, giving his teammate a little bump draft to help him back up to the back of Skyjacker. It's all about teamwork this race. You need a slipstream buddy. I thought we'd see them line astern with their teammates, but some of them have lost their teammates and now they're just scavenging toes from whoever's available. And there, whoa! I thought the C split there for Jam. Thought he was going to take Psycho. He's going for Psycho and IR Graham, but no. Slips in behind. Fantastic racing here. So Catula's still leading, but Shadow Rider in the Williams trying to come through. Here he comes. Shadow Rider coming to lead this race on lap 23. He's got Skyjacker on his inside. Skyjacker looking like he fancies it also, and Skyjacker's up. There's a few knocks going on. My word. I thought Skyjacker had put Shadow Rider in the wall for sure there, but no, Shadow Rider staying out of the wall. And now Skyjacker up into first spot with Catula in second, trying to get up the inside. Oh, we've got a massive spin in the background. We've got massive spin. It's Psycho. It's Psycho. He's a championship contender. He's up there. Look at that rear right tyre. No wonder he spun. My word, there is no meat on that tyre whatsoever. And now we've got Psycho in ninth, getting overtaken by, who's that? In Tulu and Alexis Maximus. We must have had some pit stops. Daz in Tulu. Psycho in 11th. Daz has pitted, put the medium tyres on. Daz has been in the pits, he's put the medium tyres on. So has Jim and Wise pitted, put the soft tyres on. And Mika Wivery also pitting. There you can see Alexis Maximus and in Tulu into the pits, seeing where if they can come out around Mika Wivery. I'm surprised Psycho didn't come running into the pits also. What's happening up front? Skyjacker leading the way. His rear tyre not looking so bad, but his fuel is, all of their fuels. No, Shadow Rider has done well. He has saved fuel. He's on those medium tyres. Great racing from Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider is going to stay out there a couple more laps. They've gone past the pit lane. Even with their flashing fuel, they're coming up across a back marker as well. This is going to be bedlam once they reach that back marker. Katula leading again from Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider out wide onto the wall. Jam in third. We've lost Skyjacker. Kale. Hiya Graham. Where did Skyjacker go? Did he have a small spin? He's had a bash somewhere. The front of his car flashing. So he's got to drive to a limited speed to a certain time until that car refixes itself. He's got Dutch chasing him down. Dutch's rear tyre absolutely mullered. So his car still not fixed itself. He's almost taken a whole lap. And there he comes into the pits to get rid of that. So Katula leading from Shadow Rider. Katula's fuel on the brink. You would have thought he'd come in, but he's going to try another lap there with Shadow Rider in second. Jam out there third. He's had some good fuel conserve. And look at his tyres. All of his tyres look good except for that rear right tyre. Katula's rear right tyre also quite mullered. It's dangerous stuff. We saw what happened to Psycho there in the medium tyres. Good fuel saving from IR Graham. Stevie Styler, there's his slipstream, buddy. If you can't get your teammate to do it, get your brother to do it. So Stevie Styler in fifth. There we see Jam and Katula dropping into the pits, but that medium clad Shadow Rider can stay out there for a little bit longer. 2.7 seconds ahead of IR Graham. Looks like it's Mika Wivery. They've just lapped. Stevie Styler in that third place. The rest of them all in the pits. Daz coming around. He's on the pit straight, but I think they've started returning to the track. In fourth, there goes Jam. He's starting to move. Jim Wise, he's not quite enough to get up the side of him. Katula maintains that fifth place. Daz there. He gets ahead of Kale. Kale comes out behind Jim Wise and Daz. Jim Wise, great, pulling himself up there with his pit stop. And also Daz on that medium run. Fantastic. So Shadow Rider, his fuel is now flashing. His tyres still looking quite good. IR Graham coming across his teammate with the Ferrari of Stevie Styler right behind him, pushing him all the way. He was about 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds ahead of Shadow Rider. It's down to 2 seconds. Shadow Rider's last lap at 38.1. IR Graham's at 37.6. Stevie Styler at 37.5. That's what that toe's doing for you. Fastest man so far though, Shadow Rider with a 37.3. Here comes Shadow Rider, he's come in. Hiya Graham also with Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler, did he have the medium tyres? He had the soft tyres on. Stevie Styler doing really well on those soft tyres. Will Jam come around? No. Maybe the top three still in the pits with Jam leading Katula, Jim Wise and Daz all up there in the mix. It's a fantastic stuff. The two Mercedes might be slowing each other down and helping Intulu out. There they go. So Jam definitely takes the lead. No, someone's coming out. IR Graham, all three of them have come out and jumped Jam in the pit stop. Did they short fuel? Did they hell? So they've all put the soft tyres on. They've all filled up, and Jam is there wondering what, but he's grabbing a toe, so he's back up with them. He's leaving Jim Wise behind a little bit. The two Mercedes we saw racing each other and let Kale get up into their business. So Daz down into 8th place. Intula there in 9th, racing Skyjacker. We saw Skyjacker hitting the wall just before his pit stop. And Dutch in 10th place, 11th place. I don't know how that works. Skyjacker just moved up into 10th, has he? Must have done. There's someone in the pits, I'm not sure. So Dutch in 11th with Psycho behind him and Alexis Maximus, the Aston Martin. Sandwiched between the two Red Bulls. How ironic. Whoa, there is Psycho trying all he can to get past. But he needs these guys. He needs these guys for the toe. There's no one in front of him. That close. So he's there pushing Dutch along. Try and catch up. You can see a car just down the road a little bit. So out of this, so there you see Psycho in 13th with Mika Wivery in 14th. She's some 6.8 seconds off of the pack there. I don't know what happened. There's nothing on the pits that says anything too badly hit her, but there we see. So IR Graham's leading now from Shadow Rider, and Jam getting right up there. Who dropped off? Stevie Styler dropping off the pack in front, dropping down to Jim Wise, Katula on the comeback. We saw he dropped behind Kale even. Now Kale's at the back of that pack in 8th spot. Let's jump on board. Whoa, grabbing a beautiful toe off the Mercedes. And now he's stuck, he's not stuck. Look at that, 4 cars wide ahead of us. 4 cars wide, they're never going to try and go through turn 2. 4 wide, surely, but in formation, beautiful stuff. Barely room, Mercedes on Ferrari in front of us. We're getting a beautiful toe from Kale in the McLaren. Coming up to all of them. Whoa, where's their room? There is no room, there's cars everywhere. My gosh. And there's Stevie Styler down into 8th, but there Daz dropped the hammer. He's gone into the pits. He needed the fuel. He's got those medium tyres on so he can drop them. IR Graham then out there, leading from Shadow Rider. They're all on their soft tyres, and now Jim Wise. I think the only one to do the mediums are IR Graham and Shadow Rider, ironically now, out in the lead, and they're the ones that did the medium runs. Jam, I think he's only done 2 soft runs. Jim Wise, he's done 2 softs, I think. Katula, he's on his mediums now, doing a fine job on his mediums. Stuck behind Jim Wise, giving him a push. They're just about to come across the line. I'll tell you what their lap times are. A 38.0 from Katula. Jim Wise in 4 for 38.0. Up in the lead, we've got IR Graham doing a 38.1. Shadow Rider at 38.1. And Jam also a 38.1. So tight for time. Jim Wise and Katula a little bit faster. Only a 10 faster than the guys ahead of him. Kale doing a 38.3. Grabbing a toe from those 2 in front of him with Stevie Styler in 7th. Skyjacker trying to get himself up into 8th place, but Intula has moved up into 8th. Skyjacker racing the Ferrari. This is a beautiful sight, seeing the McLaren of old chasing that Ferrari down. And there he goes, Skyjacker managing to use that toe to get ahead. Some 6 seconds behind Stevie Styler. Then in the background there you can see Psycho ahead of Dutch and Lexus Maximus, both Red Bulls. Mika Wivery now in 13th ahead of Daz, who pitted, fueled right up. He's put the soft tyres on and he's off again. Great stuff. So IR Graham still leading the way. Going to jump on board with Jam, if you don't mind. 3rd place in his Aston Martin. Chasing down IR Graham and Shadow Rider. Yet to do his medium tyres yet. The 2 in front of him have done a medium stint, but I don't think the mediums are really hurting them that much. With the way the toe works, I think if anything, the mediums are lasting longer. They can do a better longer stint, like you saw IR Graham and Shadow Rider do first time round. It was fuel that stopped them, not the tyres. Where I think you saw a couple, Psycho, Skyjacker, succumbing to the lack of grip of that rear right tyre. In Jim Wise dropping the hammer. He's gone into the pits. The aeroplane above us just disappearing over the stadium. I wonder if it'll be there next lap. Jam trying to get up the side of Shadow Rider, but it just is not working. So IR Graham leading from Shadow Rider. Jam in 3rd place. Katula leading that little pack in 4th with Kale and Stevie Styler together. Skyjacker in 7th. He's got ahead of Intula. Intula now behind Psycho. So I don't know if Intula made a mistake. He's on those medium tyres. His fuel is flashing. Dutch in 10th, trying to come back at Intula with a Lexus Maximus in 13. He's a little bit all alone, 2.5 seconds. Don't know if he's recently pitted. It doesn't look like it. 38.8 that lap. So I'm not sure. There is Mika Wivery. She's some 4.2 seconds down on Lexus and Maximus. She's managing 38 deads as she's crossing the line. Jim Wise, we saw just pitting. He's got out ahead of Daz. He's on the racing softs. Daz some 4.3 seconds behind him. Back at the lead then. Oh, look at that train of cars. It's such a beautiful sight. We've got the Alpine on the Aston Martin, and it's not the Aston Martin that we usually see up there. So, great for Aston Martin manufacturers, but for Matt Psycho's efforts for the championship, it's not looking good. Shadow Rider having a great race for Williams so far. The top 3, nothing between any of them. I wonder how Fuel's doing. So Shadow Rider there to take the lead of this race on lap 41 from IR Graham. His Fuel looking like it's just under 3/4 of a tank. IR Graham, well, he's used a bit more than Shadow Rider, but he has been the one leading the way. Jam, he's on half a tank, so he's used a bit more fuel than them guys. He can't go as long as them, but if you remember, Shadow Rider and IR Graham went a lap or two longer than the rest of the pack, who all came in. And there we can see Jam catching back up with those two leaders. Katula still leading the other pack in 4th. Kale in 5th, with Stevie Styler sitting in 6th place. They've all got roughly the same fuel. There goes Kale to try and get a move up the side, and he's lost a position. He's lost a position to Stevie Styler. He's getting back into the tow, and off they go again. So Katula in 4th, Stevie Styler in 5th place, and Kale just dropping off the back of those. Excuse me. Skyjacker in 7th, Psycho catching him up. Psycho is catching him up, remember, after the token spends and the development re-ups. We do think the Ferrari and the Aston Martin have a little power advantage, but we think they have a weight disadvantage. But at the moment, Psycho catching up with Skyjacker. They've got similar fuel levels, similar tyre wear, they're on similar strategies. Maybe they can help each other out now. Skyjacker some 8.6 seconds behind Kale, his teammate, who has fallen behind Stevie Styler. And now, well, Katula's still leading that little pack. Shadow Rider still leading the race. Great stuff there from IR Graham in 2nd. Jam there in 3rd, the final podium position. They've got around 3 seconds before Katula, Stevie Styler and Kale in 4th, 5th and 6th. Skyjacker and Matt Psycho sitting in 7th and 8th, with Alexis Maximus all alone on 9th place, with Dutch just coming into the pits there to get rid of his soft tyres. Jim in 11th. He's got Intulu all up in his business. Looks like Intulu recently pitted to put some medium tyres on, maybe, possibly, hence why he's down there. Daz, is he going to get past Dutch as Dutch pits? No, Dutch is already back out on the track. It was a quick stop, no fuel, just a tyre change. So Intulu in 11th, Jim Wise up into 10th, Dutch in 12th, Daz there in 13th place, some 1.5 seconds behind Dutch now, so not much, and he'll be upon Dutch. Dutch, he's been managing 37s, late 37s, and Daz has been managing 38, early 38s, mid 38s. He might be doing quite a bit of fuel saving. There is Alexis and Maximus. He's popped into the pits. He needed fuel. He's going to get rid of his medium tyres. And Shadow Rider still leading from IR Graham. Jam in 3rd place. Kale there is now leading that little pack, with Katula in 5th and Stevie Styler for Ferrari in 6th. Psycho now ahead of Skyjacker. We believe these two have become slipstream buddies by default, although it does look like Psycho pulling away from Skyjacker. So Psycho's lap times are 37.9 last time round, a 38.0, 38.0, 37.6. Skyjacker 37.9, 38.1, 38.0. So the times are pretty much bob on there, same as each other. So yeah, they could help each other out a lot here to try and catch up. Stevie Styler, who's some 8 seconds ahead of them. Katula now, with some 8 seconds. Katula's gone up to 5th ahead of Stevie Styler. Some massive racing going on here. We'll sit on board with Stevie Styler for a short while as the sparks kicking off of the Mercedes ahead of us here for round 6 of the Virtual Racers Club Formula X Championship. We're doing an oval. There you go, Stevie Styler giving Katula a little bump draft along. Katula now behind Kale. Great for McLaren if they can finish in that position. There's Stevie Styler trying to get the move going on. Katula just doesn't look like they can manage it in that first corner. I think the first corner is too tight. It's too tight. They lose too much speed trying to get that inside line. But you can see what they're trying to do. in the chat. Endurance Nut saying running the risk of being called a traitor. Forza Jam. Oh, very nice. He's doing well, isn't he? Doing extremely well there in third place. The question is, what's the team orders like in Aston Martin? How strict is the regime? Does Pat run a really strict team? Will Pat make them swap places if Psycho can get himself up into fourth place? Right now, he's back there in eighth, fighting Skyjacker. He's some 12 seconds off of the pack that we've seen in the lead. His fuel's depleted. He's going to have to come into the pits. Skyjacker just might not have to just yet. Catula, he's got half a tank of fuel on those medium tyres. Catula's done a fantastic job sticking with Kale on the softs and Stevie Styler on the softs. With his medium tyres, he's been doing a fantastic job there. Catula, brilliant, excellent. So Shadow Rider now taking over the lead. Well, Shadow Rider's been leading for a while from Io Graham. Jam, their fuel still looking good. Them two at front. Jam's got a little bit less than them guys. He might be just lifting a little, maybe fuel saving while he's sat behind them, trying to use the toe to keep him going. See how long he can stay out with them guys. But Jam will have to run the medium tyre at some point. Pat saying a bit of extra support is always appreciated. Thank you. Oh, to Endurance Nut. Yeah. Yum yum. That was my latte, just going down the gullet. So Shadow Rider still leading the way. Let's have a look if we can do some stuff here. No. Yeah, and then that. There we go. So we're sat on board Shadow Rider looking back at second and third. What a beautiful sight, eh? As they just crossed the line. Jam taking turns in second spot now. Io Graham slipping behind into third. Shadow Rider trying to bolt from these two. He's found 3/10 in one corner as those two swap. Loads of people coming into the pits. Kale, Psycho, Skyjacker. We saw their fuel was getting low on lap 52 of 76. What, 33 minutes? I tell you what, my 49-minute prediction, it might not be too far off. It might be even less than that. So Shadow Rider, I will look down the field because of those pit stops. Kale in 6th, Intula's moved up in 7th, Jim Wise in 8th. So I bet there's some strong old fighting going on down there. So I apologise. Let me, Jam, Graham, Stevie, sorry, Stewie. Who's Stewie? Stevie, Catula on a move. There on those medium tyres. Stevie Styler must be on, no, he's got quarter of a tank of fuel. So Stevie Styler can go all day on those. Kale has pitted. He's put the medium tyres on. He's come back out in 6th place. Some 22 seconds behind Stevie Styler. So good stuff there. Jim Wise, we saw pitting earlier. He's out ahead of Intula, but Intula, it's both Jim Wise and Intula, I think. I think Intula pitted earlier to put medium tyres on. And we saw Jim Wise pit stop. And he's low on fuel, so he's nearly ready. So's Intulu. Daz there is definitely ready for a pit stop, maybe next time round. Skyjacker, oh, look at this little battle down here. Skyjacker leading Psycho. Psycho trying to go for a move. Then, hang on. So who's the... That's Jim Wise, isn't it? That Shadow Rider in 3rd. Wow, the leaders, Jam is leading Io Graham, and then there's Shadow Rider, and then I think behind them we've got Skyjacker. No, I don't know, I've got confused. There's Skyjacker and Psycho racing each other. They're a lap down on the leaders, even though the leaders will have to pit. But Skyjacker in 9th, Psycho in 10th, just sitting behind the leaders. Alexis Maximus in 11th. We saw he's been on his own for a long time now. He's not managing to get a tow from anyone. He's got the racing soft tyres on. He's pitted. Can't see when he pitted. Lap 45 maybe. But he's got plenty of fuel to keep going. Mika Wivery now up into 12th, ahead of Dutch and Daz. She's got just under half a tank fuel. Someone just else pitted. Dutch there on the medium tyres. Just ahead of Daz, who's just recently pitted, filled up, put the softs on. So Jam leading there. Catula has pitted now. Stevie Styler also coming in at the same time. So can Kale come back around and take 4th place from Cthulhu? Stevie Styler, he's out the pits. Stevie Styler, there's Cthulhu. Kale not managing it quite, he's just crossed the line. And Stevie Styler back out in 4th and 5th place. Great race in there. Jam, we saw he had a little bit less fuel than the 2 leaders. So IR Graham and Shadow Rider staying out there for another lap. Shadow Rider's tyres looking really munched up. IR Graham's also in the same state. Jam still in the pit. Stevie Styler coming around in that 4th spot. He's on the pit straight. Jam's just moving. Stevie Styler is saying he's ahead, but the pit exit is later on. There is Jam coming out of the pit lane. And who is that? Who's that? That's a lap car just nipping by. There is Stevie Styler 1 second behind him. He's going to be catching up. His tyres are warmer. Stevie Styler's gone for the medium tyres. Jam also going for the medium tyres. Cthulhu then in 5th place on those soft tyres. He'll be wanting to rock up to them too. Ahead of him, Kale there, some 3 seconds behind Cthulhu on those medium tyres. Then we have Skyjacker in 7th place. And he's still tucked up behind the 2 leaders. He'll be wishing they'd just go away and get out of the roads. There is a Psycho. There's some movement in there. Jam in 3rd. Is he getting attacked? Stevie Styler? No, Stevie Styler's still a little bit too far behind. Cthulhu in 5th with Kel 6th. Skyjacker 7th. 8th for Psycho in Tulu in 9th place. He's just been in the pits himself, got rid of those medium tyres. He's out there on the soft. He's just ahead of Alexis Maximus, who we've seen race. They were racing each other early in the race, and they've come back together. 37 minutes in now. We're on lap 58 of 76. What a great race, but crazy. I don't know if I've kept up with it all that well, but Alexis Maximus grabbing the toe with Mika Wivry. Is that Mika Wivry just there? 7/10 behind Alexis Maximus. So these have all, after the pit stop, shaken out. They've all come back together again. Shadow Rider, Ion Graham, both into the pits, letting their pit crew fight it out. Who's going to move first? There is Shadow Rider filling up with fuel. There is Ion Graham filling up with fuel. It's anyone's game. There is Jam coming around the last turn. Shadow Rider's moving. Ion Graham's already moving. Ion Graham is out first, so Ion Graham takes the lead again in this race from Shadow Rider in 2nd spot. Jam there 3rd, some 10 seconds behind him. The medium tyres have hurt Jam a hell of a lot. IR Graham staying out there with Shadow Rider on those soft tyres for those extra couple of laps. Have given them a lovely little gap with 16 laps to go. Jam in 3rd, Cthulhu in 4th, Stevie Styler in 5th place, Kale there in 6th. Then we got Skyjacker in 7th, in the McLaren, Psycho in 8th, in Tulu in 9th, Mika Wivry's coming to the pits. There is Alexis Maximus in 10th. With the moment we've got IR Graham and Shadow Rider making their way past these guys. They're trying not to impede their race, but they've got their own race to deal with. It looked like, oof. Shadow Rider and then Tulu having a little knocking session. Alexis and Maximus there in 10th, trying to get past in Tulu right now. Jim One Wise in 11th, some 2.8 seconds behind Alexis Maximus. Dutch is 3.6 seconds behind Jim One Wise, still on his medium tyres. Daz there is only less than 2 seconds behind Dutch, pushing on his soft tyres, and Mika Wivry just coming out the pits in her medium tyres. Whew, Flashman says cracking job thingy. Are you sure? So, IR Graham, lap 62, he's leading by 9/100ths of a second with Shadow Rider closely tucked up there. Jam a little further back, he's lost some time in the pit stops. And also with Intulu and Dutch, is it? Intulu and Alexis Maximus getting mixed up with the leaders. I don't think really you can count blue flags, what with slipstreams and such what. Jim One Wise a little further down the road there in 11th, ahead of Dutch. Oh, these look a lot more of a pleasant affair. They're really nicely spread out. There's Daz, just been taken by, I think, Jam. And Mika Wivry just getting up to speed after a pit stop. So IR Graham now leading the way. He's got a nice 2/10 on Shadow Rider as they try and drop 8th and 9th, is it? 8th and 9th of Intulu. No, it must be 9th and 10th Intulu and Alexis Maximus coming back at Shadow Rider. Oh, don't knock him. Don't cause an accident between first and second, Alexis. That would be tragic. So Jam, 9.7 seconds behind the two leaders now on those medium tyres. He's got no one helping him for a tow. Cthulhu not far behind in 4th place. Stevie Styler in 5th. Only 2/10 behind Cthulhu. Kale now a further 9 seconds. He's on the medium tyres, but so see Cthulhu on the soft has helped Stevie Styler along. I think using that tow, because Kale dropping off, doing 39.7s, a 39.0, 39.1. Struggling to get out of 39s is Kale. Skyjacker now catching him up. That's what he wants, a tow buddy. And Skyjacker fighting with Psycho. Psycho there on the medium tyres, getting help from Skyjacker. Skyjacker, he's going past his teammate. Not going to give him a bump draft. Oh, maybe they've swapped places, because Skyjacker higher in the championship. Oh, Kale. But no, Kale picking up on the tow. He's had a little knock from Psycho, but Psycho's just trying to tuck in. I think he mistimed his tuck. I think that's what a lot of these little knocks that we're seeing. These guys, this is, like I said, first time we've had a race like this in the VRC. And I think these guys just getting used. I bet you any money, all of them would say they want another go straight after, because they know that they things they did wrong, things they could do better. And I think a lot of these trying to tuck back into the tow, the little knocks we're seeing, it's just them mistiming their tuck-ins. There we see Skyjacker getting the tow on Psycho. Up into 3rd spot there, we can see Cthulhu catching Jam up and getting ahead. Jam down to 4th place with Stevie Styler tucked right up behind them. My word, we're on lap 66. We've only got 10 laps of racing to go. 42 minutes into this race. That's 10 laps is 5 minutes. Well, just over. It's got to be about 6 minutes, surely. So I'm going to be right with my 49 minutes here. IR Graham is a 10th ahead of Shadow Rider. Can Shadow Rider do it in the last 10 laps? Can he just whip IR Graham to get that win? Has he got it in him? They've got half a tank of fuel. Will that be enough fuel? The tyres, I think, could last for 10 laps around here now. Cthulhu in that 3rd spot ahead of Jam. Jam, he's been in 3rd for ages. He wants that podium. He's back up in... No, he's not. Cthulhu still maintaining that 4th spot. Jam fighting Stevie Styler off. Stevie Styler there in 5th, while Skyjacker some 10 seconds behind these guys, ahead of Psycho. Got to say, Psycho, it's not been a bad save for him if he can finish around 6th, 7th or 8th place. Kale there in 8th. Then we've got Intulu. He's lost Alexis Maximus now. He's all on his own in 9th with Jim One Wise. No, that's Dutch. Hang on. Jim One Wise. I totally missed Jim One Wise out. He's also on his own a little bit. Then you've got Dutch just catching up the leaders, it seems. That battle in 3rd, 4th and 5th. Daz there in 12th. Alexis Maximus, he must have just pitted. Oh no, he's got quite a lot of wear on his rear tyre, so I'm not sure. There is Mika Weathery doing her medium run. And the timer is counting down. The clock ticking away. They're running out of laps to do something. I don't know with these few. They're down to a quarter of a tank just about. Shadow Rider a little bit more fuel than IR Graham. He's probably been fuel saving behind IR Graham all these laps. In Cthulhu in 3rd. Jam slamming it into the wall. Stevie Styler's gone ghosted, but he's going back up to speed. He'll soon catch up these two. So Cthulhu in 3rd, Jam 4th, Stevie Styler trying to catch them up. Skyjacker, he's in a 6th spot, some 9 seconds to 9.5 seconds behind Stevie Styler, ahead of Matt Psycho. Psycho will be trying, determined, anything he can to get past Skyjacker. And Skyjacker maintaining that 6th place with 8th place. Kale, he was with them guys. He's dropped back. He was a little bit slower on those medium tyres. He's not as comfortable. He's got 18 seconds before Intulu. Intulu all on his own, 2.7 seconds ahead of Jim One Wise. And we've only got 6 laps left of racing. There is Dutch in 11th place. And Daz some 12, some 7/10 behind Dutch, so there still might be something on for Daz there. Alexis Maximus 3.6 seconds behind Daz, and he's 13 seconds ahead of Mika Wivery. So set lap 71, IR Graham leading from Shadow Rider. Absolutely nothing in it between the two of them. Oh god, I left it on that There we go. Sorry guys, I've left it on the wrong button. So on board with Shadow Rider. He's still bump drafting I.R. Graham. I don't know when these guys are going to stop the slipstream and go into a race mode. I'm really not sure. Lap 72 coming around, complete lap 73, and then there's only 3 laps left. Crazy racing here. It's hard to call it. It's definitely going to be one of these two, with Catula some 12 seconds behind Jam, wanting that 3rd spot back, pushing the Spaniard all the way in his Mercedes. Stevie Styler some dropped off the back of these guys. Psycho up into 6th ahead of Skyjacker now. Kale back there in 8th, with Intula in 9th. Jim Wise in 10th. 11th for Dutch, who's ahead of Daz. Is he though? No. Yes, he's down there, but I don't know. He's moving out of the way, I think. Blue flags. And Daz trying to come back there. I think they're getting out of Stevie Styler's way, but they can't. And Alexis Maximus there in 13th, with Mika Wivery in 14th. Lap 74, they cross the line. I.R. Graham leading Shadow Rider by less than a 10th, with Catula. Now Jam up into 3rd. They're side by side going along the straightaway, and Catula just tucks in behind Jam as we're going into the last 2 laps. Stevie Styler pretty much all on his own there. He's helping the Red Bull of Dutch along, and it looks like, I think it's Daz who's just gone past him. That's not Catula. No, Catula in his fight with Stevie Styler. Oh, not Stevie Styler, sorry, with Jam. They're going for it again. Catula back up into 3rd. We've got 2 laps left here. I.R. Graham and Shadow Rider, neither of them have budged for the last 10 or so laps. It's been status quo since the last pit stops. Catula's fuel is flashing, but it won't run out before the end of this race, or will it? There's Jam pushing all the way. Stevie Styler in 5th, Skyjacker in 6th. He's back ahead of Psycho. Where do you watch the racing? It's crazy. So I.R. Graham there. They start in the final lap. Shadow Rider still in that 2nd spot. Then for 3rd, Catula and Jam fighting it out. Then we have Skyjacker. Skyjacker spun. Skyjacker has had a huge spin. Skyjacker spun. He's got 9 seconds before his teammate Kale in 8th place. I don't know what's happened. Psycho, he's going slowly. Psycho feels responsible. He's waiting for Skyjacker to catch up. Shadow Rider meanwhile has taken the lead. Shadow Rider's taken the lead from I.R. Graham. They're coming around the final straight away, and is he? I don't know. No, I.R. Graham takes the win. I.R. Graham takes the win, and Shadow Rider in 2nd spot. There comes Jam. Jam's got it from Catula. Jam taking the final. Is he going to take the final podium position? Catula, he's lining him up. Oh my lord, no one can tell. Jam ahead of Catula to take 3rd spot, and Catula only just in 4th. Stevie Styler bringing it home for 5th place for Ferrari. Fantastic stuff, Stevie Styler. Psycho managing to stay ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker behind Kale some reason. So Psycho brings it home. I don't know, it'll have to be a steward's report for Psycho and Skyjacker on that final lap. But Psycho brings home 6th, Kale 7th, and Skyjacker home for 8th for McLaren. In Tulu 9th for Ferrari. Jim Wise 10th for Williams. Dutch 12th for Red Bull, and it's disappeared. I'll take you to the... Congratulations, I.R. Graham. My word, I thought Shadow Rider had it for a second then. I don't know what happened. Must have been a knock, because it looked like he pulled over for you, but I can't be sure. Ooh, what a race. Fantastic. What was it? What was the race time? 49 minutes! I called it. Boom. It was just by pure luck. Fluke. So, I.R. Graham takes your win. That's one of the shortest 150-mile races we've had so far this season. I.R. Graham takes your win today with an astounding drive. Pushed all the way by the Williams driver Shadow Rider. An amazing drive there from both of those two. Well deserved of their 2 top steps. Jam and Catula, anyone could have called it for that final podium position, but Jam gets it for Aston Martin in the end. Whoo-wee. Then Catula in fourth, a great finish for Mercedes, great points. They need that for the token spend coming up. So Catula bringing home some fantastic points for Mercedes. Stevie Styler for Ferrari, always consistent, always up there, always in the top 5 or 6. So Psycho in 6th place, unusual for him down there. We saw he had a spin early doors and it put him right to the back nearly. He's had a gallant drive back up into 6th place, and every point will count when this season draws to an end. In 7th place for McLaren, Kale ahead of his teammate Skyjacker. Seems to be he wasn't happy with the medium tyres on that last stint and lost a few places. Skyjacker, we saw a spin there. We don't know if he was involved with something with Psycho. Don't know what happened there. Psycho looked like he slowed down, but then he must have just carried on. Who knows? Maybe if we see the stewards report, maybe that'll mention that. So in 9th place in Tulu, fighting all the way with the Red Bull cars in the end, coming out on top for Ferrari, ahead of the Williams Jim Wise, who finished in 10th, 11th for Daz in the Mercedes, Dutch in the Red Bull in 12th, and 13th for the other Red Bull of Alexis Maximus. Not sure what happened to Alexis Maximus. He was up there. He was fighting away. He slipped back a little bit. They'll be looking forward to the token spend, I'm sure, Red Bull, because they need a development boost back there. And Mika Wivery on her debut for Formula X, standing in for Noxie. She can hold her head high. She did an absolutely brilliant job. Only 7 seconds off of Alexis Maximus in the end, jumping right in mid-season in a car this powerful on a track oval that none of us have got really a lot of oval experience with. She did a mighty fine job. Hats off to the lady of Virtual Racers Club. Wow. I could breathe now. That's crazy. That was a crazy 49 minutes. Right, I'll go to the chat, see what's happening. Right, last thing we read was Flashman saying cracking job thingy. Alan Sykes says more of this please. Endurance Nut says wow, more of this please. Jonathan Knowles, I think that's Noxie, he deleted it. Mika Wivery said I have no idea what happened. I pitted in 12th, came out in 14th and 6 seconds behind. I think you lost your toe buddy, your slipstream buddy. Noxie, well done, all great racing all over. Noxie also said well done Mika. Mika Wivery said then just never had the help of a slipstream. Yeah, there you go. I said the same thing before I read it. Flashman said, well done, Team Williams. Excellent race. Yeah, 2nd spot. That's going to be good in the token spend. Noxie also said, looked like hard work. Man, yeah, flat out. All the way for 49 minutes. That's some crazy racing. Pat says, great race. Well done on the commentary. Oh, thanks, Pat. Shucks. Cheers, bud. That's very kind of you. Right then, hopefully, massive bonanza. Got the final of the Super GT we're going to do tonight. Going to do it tonight, definitely tonight. Hopefully before you go to bed even, maybe. Have a quick fag or something and set myself back up, and I might be back on air pretty soon with the big final of the Super GT. Then the Pacific Rim Championship we'll try and do at some point. Clear all the decks, ready for the new championship on Tuesday, the GTMC4 I think it is. I'll check that, but yeah, GTMC will be back. Double your pleasure, bud, because we're going 2-tier and we're hoping we can keep the numbers for a season, because the last time we did 2-tier, tier 2, the numbers dwindled very quickly. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, the new guys that are joining us and coming in, they're going to stick with the season. Let's see. But yeah, double your pleasure. We're going to have 2 GTMC lobbies running. Thursday is still Pacific Rim. That'll just continue. Friday nights, carrying on with the Max 5, and what a race the last one was. Check that out on YouTube if you get a chance. And then on Sunday, we will have round 7 of Formula X. I can't even tell you where it is. Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, let's be professional. Let's be professional about this, shall we, and tell you exactly where we're going to be. We are going to be Circuit of Spa Francorchamps. Now, will that be better than this oval? Who knows? You'll have to join us and see, but that is going to be one cracking race next week, next Sunday. So, you know where the action is here at the Virtual Racers Club. Check us out on www.virtualracersclub.co.uk. You can join our Discord through that very website by pressing the Join Community button. Thank you for tuning in. I was your broadcaster and commentator, Neil Amblomi. Thank you. Bye. Oh, and Psycho got the fastest lap on lap 58. That was my wife Neil Amblomi.
You are disgusting.
Just go away. I haven't finished. So Psycho got your fastest lap on lap 58 with a 37.2. Like I said, I was your broadcaster and commentator, Neil Amblomi. Thank you for tuning in. Catch us again next time on YouTube for the Virtual Racers Club.